Hello, and welcome to another episode of Hasu Hour. I'm your host, Zerg, and the matchup today is Terran versus Protoss. The map is Orbital Shipyard, and the Terran spawns in the bottom, while the Protoss spawns on the right. See a little chat between the players here. And the Terran opens up with a depot, presumably followed by a barracks, and the Protoss with a gateway. Perhaps we'll see some bio play by the Terran. Who knows? That remains to be seen. Orbital Shipyards is a two-player map, and there's a fairly decent distance between the mains because you have to take this somewhat circuitous route around the middle barrier if you do want to go for an early attack. Single gas so far for the Terran, and we'll probably see a factory with the first 100 gas. Of course, he'll be getting an orbital command center as soon as this SCV is finished in order to get that mule income, and a fast expansion for the Protoss player. So he's taking a little risk here and skimping on early forces in order to get his economy going, and the Terran players does the same. Presumably, they both think that because of the structure of the map, they're going to be safe from any early assault. They can hold the ramp with minimal forces and get their eco going. A little late scout here by the toss, and he's not going to see too much because the probe is attacked by the Marine, and a nice stutter step there in an effort to kill the probe, but it is going to be able to escape and report back to his friends here about what he saw, which was not really that much. Factory now for the Terran player and robotics facility for the Protoss. So we'll probably see some observers, maybe some disruptors, which is a new Legacy of the Void unit. An adept patrolling the ramp. You always want to have vision of your ramp. You always want to protect it to make sure that nothing sneaks past there. And starport now for the Terran player, so perhaps we'll see some early drops. He is getting a tech lab at his factory, probably going to produce tanks, although potentially he could make cyclones as well. And in fact, he is making a cyclone. The cyclone is another new unit with Legacy of the Void, and it's got a pretty cool lock-on ability that once you get the upgrade, the Meg Field Accelerator upgrade, it does 400 damage over an extremely long range. Adept drop here by the Protoss player. The Adepts are an excellent harass unit. They do a 2-shot kill on workers, and they have a shade transfer ability to allow them to attack in one place while simultaneously moving to another. So they're great for doing harass, and you can actually hit multiple bases in the same area at the same time, basically. The Protoss player using phasing mode. Now the Cyclone, you're locking onto the dropship, but the dropship is going to escape. The thing about the Cyclone ability is you do need to maintain vision, or you're not going to be able to continue attacking. So that's why the shuttle was able to escape. And the Terran looks like he's going to be able to defend this attack with really minimal damage. The Liberator chasing after the shuttle, but the Liberator's damage is it takes so many hits because it's got such weak damage versus one unit. So the Terran more than ably defending that attack and perhaps getting the advantage because of it. While microing, his macro did slip a little bit here. And the chat, I guess, really isn't helping. I guess this is a little more of a relaxed game. But he really needs to get some spending under control here. So the Protoss player, Fort Gate now, throwing down double forge to get those upgrades that are so critical for a longer game. And spending is just so out of control. You almost think the replay is broken or something, but no, his macro is probably just not going that well. So 4 gate now for the Protoss player, and he is getting this blink upgrade, pumping some Immortals. Immortals are a great unit to take on the tank because they have the barrier cooldown ability, and they also do extra damage versus armored units. Straight like Marine, Liberator, and Cyclone composition so far, with a couple Marauders now adding to the mix. And the Terran is going to be able to take his third base pretty soon. So far, the Protoss player getting a mix of Immortals, Adepts, Stalkers, and Sentries. So a nice varied unit composition here, which is important to achieve the maximum effectiveness of your units. And this is a pretty good defensive formation with the Stalkers able to blink very quickly to protect both bases, and the Mothership core here very well placed to fend off any sort of drop harass with its photon overcharge ability, as well as this cannon guarding the workers. Setting up some basic drop defense is a good idea. The Terran, for his part, guarding his ramp with a Liberator in defender mode. Nice observer placement here, keeping an eye on the Terran forces so that the Protoss player will be ready to get his units in position should the Terran try an all-in push. And the Protoss player moving his army out to the center of the map. Perhaps his notion here is to defend if the Terran moves out. Maybe he'll try an all-in assault, although that seems a little risky at this stage of the game. And it looks like he is, in fact, going to try to storm the Terran ramp. 3 Liberators in defender mode here, and the Protoss player forced to retreat. This is simply too excellent a defensive position for the Terran army. There is really no way to attack this. Potentially the Protoss player could go around the back door and attack through the rocks. He's trying a little depot harass here, and both players sort of jockeying for position, neither wanting to commit to little friendly fire there, as the Protoss player madly clicking killed one of his units. He's warping in some reinforcements with the warp prism and its warp conduit ability, if that's what it is. Looks like the Protoss player is going to try to break down these rocks here, or not, as the case may be. These Cyclones could get some free kills with their lock-on ability if they simply moved a little closer to the units. And there it is. Oh, and the Stalkers warping in, but this army is just going to get incinerated by the bio ball. So that was really this is kind of nice though, the force fields and excellent excellent Dunkirking there by the medevac, grabbing the isolated Marines and bringing them into the safety of the Terran third base. So neither side really getting a decisive advantage from that confrontation, although the Protoss player did lose too many stalkers there. Fourth base coming online for the Protoss, and it looks like the Terran is going to try an all or nothing push. The two armies very close. Liberators forming their defender mode, and the Shades are I don't know what they're doing there, scouting, I guess, checking it out, and that's not good there for the Adepts. Warp right in the middle of the Terran army. The Terran forces making a brief tactical retreat, and the Protoss army hot on the tail of the Terran forces, but unable to engage with the defender mode, keeping them back. It looks like the Terran is getting the best of this so far, earning some free kills, but really no side has scored a decisive victory yet. Both forces very close, and here we have it, an all-in confrontation. Both armies doing massive damage, but the Terran is going to win this battle. The Protoss trying to make a little tactical retreat, warping in some reinforcements, and actually the Terran is in retreat. The mines getting some kills, but the Terran has to run to the ramp here, and the Protoss army not letting him get away. The high ground advantage not going to be enough here for the Terran forces, and in come some reinforcements. The Adepts melting beneath the bio ball here, but really a close battle actually. The Marauders doing very good damage, and he's trying to stutter step a little bit, but the Shades are just right on him. In come the reinforcements, and still actually a pretty close fight here. Protoss with a supply advantage. 2-2 upgrades for the Terran, 3-3 for the Toss. Toss getting his 5th base, and Terran still on 3. And the Protoss player taking out these rocks for some reason. Not really sure why he did that. I guess because he could. In comes the Protoss force, picking up some stray SCVs, and brief tactical retreat. Terran Bioball very close to the Protoss army. Shades scouting the Terran position, and the Protoss player relentlessly attacking. There is nowhere left for these Marines to maneuver to. Force fields throwing down. The poor Marines are just utterly routed. And that is going to be game, ladies and gentlemen. The Terran forces utterly defeated and out-ecoed. The Shades walking in the open door to the ramp, and the Stalkers jumping in. Just utter devastation for the Terran force here, and the Protoss army is victorious.